everybody, welcome to yet another episode of Dayton Drama Queens. I'm Josh Stuckey.
And I'm Philip Drennen.
He's back.
I'm back.
Woo!
Oh.
So tell us all about New York and what's going on with the show.
Oh, it was so great. I opened my show, Big A Jamboree, which I was the co-lyricist and composer on.
Yes.
Went out in the summer. I can't believe that's the last time I've been here. It was the summer.
That's crazy. It's crazy.
And now I'm back in for the beautiful foggy fall here in Dayton.
It's creepy.
It was great. It was seriously the best artistic experience I've ever had. I got to do it with my best friends and live in New York for a few months, which I loved, but I was really ready to come back to Dayton.
Okay, good.
Very, very much so.
Well, we're glad you're back.
I just wanted to get in my car and drive to the grocery, and not walk
Totally get it.
with all my groceries on.
I totally get it.
So, but it was really, really great. Yeah.
Well, we're so excited you're back.
Thanks.
Listen, I do want to tell you all, thank you so much. Our numbers keep growing and growing for our little video podcast.
Is it because I was gone?
It's because you were gone. I think this will tank today. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, we have a very, very exciting guest today, Mike Griest, who is with the Dayton Art Institute.
I am.
And, we try to stick to all the arts here in Dayton, and this is one we've not yet covered.
Okay.
And we're so excited to have you here. So tell us a little bit about how you got involved with the Dayton Art Institute.
So I started out on the associate board.
Oh, okay.
My wife and I were Oktoberfest chairs. We did our time on the associate board, and I had such a great time. I went back and applied for a job.
Wow.
So that was 2019. We
Okay.
chaired the Oktoberfest. I just kept feeling like I needed to do something different with my career. I was working in higher ed and decided to make a change, and they were nice enough to give me a soft place to land.
That's awesome.
great.
That was 3 years ago.
Wow.
And so, speaking of Oktoberfest, Philip wasn't here for this.
Oh.
But our Oktoberfest weekend this year was a deluge.
Oktoberfest Helene.
Yeah, Helene, that's right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We'd watch the radar. There'd be a little break, and we're like, we're going to get a couple hours, and then it would shift, and we would get 20 minutes. So I think it rained for 3 days.
I remember that weekend. I wasn't here, but that was the same weekend Chris was flying to New York, and I just pictured him as Miranda Priestley and Devorah's Prada, like, it's just a drizzle, and it's just like a hurricane outside.
It was a hurricane.
Right.
Yeah.
So how does the DAI make up for something like that? What will come to pass?
So we're asking for a few things. One is we do always have a great end of year push, like every nonprofit, for people to think about us as they do Giving Tuesday and shop and all those things. So one is that if you've not given us a gift in a while to our annual fund, this is a great year to do so. If you had plans to come to Oktoberfest, if you were going to spend some money there, if you've got holiday shopping to do and our gift shop or birthday shopping, I just think it's a great time to get out and support us in whatever way is possible.
Yes.
Buying a membership, we have a great 2025 coming up. So if you buy your membership now, you're in for all of the great shows that we have coming in 2025, as well as our jazz series. So it's a great time to get reacquainted in a different way with the DAI and think about giving to us this end of 2024.
I love that. For people who haven't been to the DAI, because there are those people in Dayton who are like, oh, I want to go, or maybe they feel a little intimidated,
Right.
Is there any suggestions that you have to sort of like dip your toes in, or a specific exhibit people might go visit?
So every exhibition that we do, every special exhibition has a community tour that's free with entry. So you can look on our website and find out when those are. So if you're saying, I'd like to go look, but I don't understand, or I don't know where to go, or what if I get lost in that Asian gallery that goes on for 8 days downstairs? We always have a tour option, and we always are glad to have community groups bring a tour. So if your social group, if your book club would like to come do something together, we're happy to book a community tour with you, especially for your group. So come take a tour. Let one of our docents or one of our guides, somebody from our education team, walk you around, show you the highlights, and give you kind of where to start in our collection and some of the best pieces so that you have a place to go. The other thing I'd say is if you've been there before, come back. It always changes. The galleries change all the time. We're adding new pieces and new works all the time. And 3 times a year, there's a brand new special exhibition that's there to see. So come back. If you think, oh, I've been there once.
Right.
Come back.
Yeah.
That's great.
There's lots to see and lots of changes.
Good advice. And I know you have some huge events that you do throughout the year. other than Oktoberfest? What are some of the other big fundraisers?
Yeah, so Bourbon and Bubbles has grown into one of our
yes,
largest
huge.
fundraisers. We just wrapped that up a few weeks ago. It's a bourbon and bubbles tasting. It's really just a really great party.
Yeah.
Art Ball is coming into year 62. It's a Dayton tradition.
That's the same age as me.
Both aging like fine wine.
Yeah.
That's it.
Like fine cheese.
This year we have Art Ball will be chaired by two women for the first time, a mother-daughter duo.
Oh, I love that.
Amazing.
And they're going to be focusing on a woman artist. I can't reveal who that is yet. You'll have to keep watching. But Art Ball continues to move forward. That's our Black Tie Gala. And we have a new event besides those three. We already mentioned Oktoberfest. We're starting a new cocktail tasting in April. It'll be called Curated, and it's to benefit art conservation. So when you give art to our collection, when we bring a piece into the collection, we vow to take care of it. That costs money.
Of course, of
A
course.
single painting to clean is $5,000. We've got to continue to raise money just to take care of the art we already have, not to mention bring new pieces in. So new on the horizon, Curated. You'll have to watch for that to drop. Tickets will be on sale in February or March.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Super. So do you particularly have a piece of art in the museum that you love?
Yeah, you'll find me always in Gallery 201, which is the newest artwork. It's the most modern things.
Okay.
That's where you see Warhol. That's where you see those works. I tend to like more modern pieces. The European Gallery is not my favorite place in the museum. I know other folks love it there. I find myself often just kind of wondering what they were thinking, because I can't say that I understand it. I don't look at the painted blocks and say, oh, I totally get it. But I do like that it lets my mind go where it wants to go, right? I can look at it and wonder where those things go. So narrowing it down to one is hard.
Sure.
But I would say I just live in that American kind of modern gallery. The Helen Frankenthaler piece is probably one of my favorites, which is kind of water and movement and unvarnished canvas, so it feels very raw. And I always find some new splatter or piece in it that I really like.
That's great.
Yeah.
As far as new exhibitions, is it kind of a different process each time when you're deciding what's coming in and what's coming out of the museum?
They're planned years in advance.
Oh, wow.
Our special exhibitions are booked out for the next 3 to 4 years. We work hard to diversify what comes in. In 2025, we have 3 exhibitions that are the only time you'll see them in Ohio is in Dayton in 2025.
Wow.
They're only coming to Ohio here. We have Jamie Wyeth, who is a modern artist. Lots of you know him from his kind of farm scenes, but he also has a lot of work more recent that is kind of spooky and eerie. He actually worked with Warhol for a bit and has there's a portrait of Warhol that's part of this traveling exhibit. So that's coming first this year. And then Curtis Barnes, who's one of the founders of the African American Visual Artists Guild, AVAG, in Dayton, who worked with Bing Davis. His family is letting us borrow a large number of his works for a summer show. So a Dayton artist, we love when we can do local things.
Oh, yeah.
And then we're wrapping up the year with Art Nouveau. So Tiffany and all kinds of furniture and clocks and artwork and sculpture from the turn of the century, so there's something for everybody. But we've been planning for these since 2022 when we booked these traveling shows.
Well, I know our population that listens to this podcast will love the Tiffany exhibit.
I heard at least a
we
couple
sure
people.
Quite a lineup for that.
Where are the lamps?
So
I'll just put arrows out now.
That's
the
honestly
lamps are here.
Great,
so you can
great
move
idea.
quickly through. Yeah.
Great idea.
So how do you get involved? You were talking about the associate board.
Yeah.
How does someone get involved with the DAI in that way?
Yeah, there are lots of ways.
Okay.
We love volunteers. We run on volunteers. And whether you have an hour to give on a weekend or whether you want to come volunteer 20 hours a week, you can fill out a volunteer application on our website. That could be that you come pour champagne at Bourbon and Bubbles or draw some beer for us at Oktoberfest. It could also mean that you're a greeter. It could mean that you help us scan documents or work in the finance office, whatever you'd like to do to support us. I think there's this idea that you have to know about art. You just have to love it and want to help us out.
Yeah.
So volunteering is a great way to do that. Our associate board is a duo board. We're very careful to say duo.
Yes, that's smart. That's
right.
very smart.
It used to be couples. Now it's any 2 people who can get along for 4 years. Really.
Good luck with that.
So we have best friend, right? It's harder than it sounds.
Yes.
Best friends, coworkers, mother-daughter teams. All kinds of different people are now part of the associate board in these duos. It is a 4-year commitment. We take in 8 new duos a year.
Okay.
But it's a great way to get involved in planning our signature events, getting to know new people. There's all kinds of ways. If you don't have a financial way to be part of the museum, there are lots of ways to give of your time or your expertise.
Yeah.
And we're always looking for people to get involved. If you go to our website, there's a whole section about volunteering and ways to get involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you from Dayton?
North of Dayton, Dayton adjacent.
Okay, Dayton adjacent.
Yeah, Dayton adjacent. I grew up in Urbana.
Oh, okay. Yeah. My sister went to Urbana College.
Yeah,
Yes.
I did a stint working there too.
Okay. Okay.
I think that for me, it was a field trip, right?
Okay.
And it was one of those things where you got on a bus, you went down, they showed you some stuff. Don't touch, stay back.
Yeah.
So I rediscovered it in my 20s when I kind of came back and was more a part of Dayton. I have always just kind of watched. So it's kind of started with the Diana's Dresses moment.
Oh my God.
And
What a-
just
what a
keep
memory,
coming back.
honestly.
Right. And
Yeah.
I remember the penguins that all turned and watched you. And in some of those moments, it's important to remember that I was there for those. And so when I think about marketing and helping choose, I want to create those moments,
Yeah.
right? So being able to say, we have all these great works from the turn of the century, please come see them. Or the only place you're going to see these Wyeth without driving 150 miles is here. Creating those moments for families and for people is really kind of what keeps me interested and keeps me wanting to do these
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
What about kids?
I was going to ask the same
Were you
thing.
going there? Because
Yeah.
being a kid, I was his teacher when he was.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we went to the DAI when you were younger.
Well, I was going to say, I remember the first time I went was a field trip situation
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
And just even then thinking, I can't believe this is in Dayton.
Yeah.
It's just so
Yeah.
incredible.
So we do a lot of programming specifically for kids,
Yeah.
but we also want you to bring your kids into the galleries and show them the art and talk to them about it.
Yeah.
So the Lang Family Experience Center is on the lower level. Right now we have some really cool technology that will be there for probably the next 2 years. You can color in a hot air balloon or an airplane or lots of other flying things, scan it through, and then what you have drawn shows up on a big screen and floats through with your name on
my
it.
God.
So they can see their artwork come to life.
Okay.
In addition to a number of other activities that are designed just for kids in that space.
I love that.
It's called This Is Us, You, Me, and Dayton is the theme right now. So it talks about community and living in Dayton, but there's enough technology in there to keep your average,
Yeah.
current kid in there and
Or
excited.
Josh.
Right, or
I'm
Josh.
excited.
You just see a
me.
plane
I know.
fly by
I'll
with
see the
Josh's
Josh
face
plane.
on it.
I bet it's bright.
Yes,
The
yes.
Josh hot air balloon.
There you go.
Yeah.
Great idea.
But we do want you to bring your kids to lots of things. And I think Oktoberfest has things for kids, and our galleries have didactics that help you explain to kids. We have an app now that we do through Bloomberg that also has some conversation and talking point questions for families and for kids. So yes, come play, and there's
Yeah.
a place to be loud. But we also want you to come have conversations in the galleries
Yeah.
and talk out loud. And we want you to stay back from the art and not touch things so we can preserve
Of course,
it.
of course.
But we still want everybody to be there,
Yes.
including kids.
Sure.
And so we work really hard to make sure that stay back, don't touch, but please be here and be here together.
I know the front of the building went through a little renovation.
Yeah.
And first of all, for those people that have not seen the Dayton Art Institute,
Right.
that is one of the most beautiful buildings probably in the entire city.
Yeah.
And what is the history of that building?
So the building was built in the midst of the Great Depression.
Okay.
Julia Shaw, Carnell, Patterson, all the names.
Yes, yes.
Julia was the driving force. She convinced people to give up their mansions that stood on that site and tear them down to build a museum
I did
on
not
the
know that.
spot.
Wow.
A lot of the original collection, we have almost 30,000 pieces now, but most of the original 1,500 were Julia's, right? She donated the things to get things started with this
Okay.
vision. So it was built on this site. It continues to evolve. We've had a zoo.
Really?
We had peacocks and donkeys and monkeys. You used to be able to smoke in galleries. We have lovely photos from Art Ball from 60 years ago of people hanging on to the Monet with their hair touching it. We've come a long way. Things were
Just
different.
riding a donkey,
right.
smoking a
I
cigarette
know, exactly.
through
Why
The
not?
monkey at your table.
Yeah, and for a price, we could recreate that, but
Sure.
probably not.
Well,
Curator might
yeah,
not be
yeah.
in
Oh my
favor,
God,
but
that's funny.
but I think the building, the museum, continues to evolve. So we always celebrate our history. more than 100 years of history in Dayton, and then that building coming up on the 100th anniversary of the opening of the building. But the other thing to think about is if you've ever restored a home or lived in a 100-year-old home or even a 75-year-old home, we have a tile roof, right?
yeah.
We have a glass dome over top of one of the cloisters. We have all kinds of things that need kind of constant upkeep and thinking about renovating them and
Sure.
keeping
It's
them.
Be thousands and thousands of dollars.
Heating it is interesting too.
Oh, yeah.
And cooling it and keeping it right for the art. So we love our building, but it presents challenges, and
Of course.
it's one of the ways we have to continue to take care of the art.
You said the thing about the hair touching the Monet.
Yeah.
It reminded me. So for Theater Lab, we filmed our season promo there last season, and it was such a wonderful experience.
Yeah.
We got to use all the different spaces, and it turned out so great. But of course, we brought in props, and that season we were doing Misery, and we didn't really think about it, but we come in with our cart of props, and security sees this sledgehammer. And they are like, no,
Right.
you can't. And we were like, oh, but it's just,
Right.
and I understand,
Right.
but I didn't even think about walking into,
Right.
an art museum
Right,
with
with
a
a
sledgehammer.
sledgehammer.
They were
Yeah.
like, we'll give you 10 minutes, and
Yeah.
we're going to have 4 people around
Yeah.
watching you,
Right.
and then get
Right.
it to your car as fast as
good to
possible.
know.
Yes.
So we love having people in. We love having your wedding. We love having your
yeah,
event. We
true.
love having photo shoots.
Well, there's so many great places.
There's all these vignettes and great places to
Yeah.
take photos. But light is dangerous to art. Glitter is very
Sure.
dangerous to
sure.
art. Water, liquids, big backpacks and
Yeah.
bags. So I know sometimes people are like, the list of things you can't bring in is really long. We know, but we're also protecting Monet
Of
and
course.
Hopper and Warhol and priceless things that can't be replaced. So
Yeah.
it's a balance. Throwing a great party, making sure your wedding's amazing, that you have a great tour, but also making sure it's all here in another 100 years
Yeah.
for the next generation of Daytonians to be
Sure.
able to enjoy it.
So
Yeah.
it was an institute. It was actually a
Yeah.
true Dayton Art Institute. Are
Yeah.
there still classes that
We-
go on for
Yeah.
DAI?
Yeah, our summer camp program is huge, and we start that in June, and it runs through late July. So we
Okay.
have great summer camps for kids. But with every exhibition that comes through, we have things that match. So we still offer,
okay.
right now, we have the Grinch, and you can do a cell animation class.
Oh, fun.
So yes, constantly. But beyond just those art making classes, we're doing tours that we're working on a true crime tour. You
I
can
want to
go-
do that.
Me too.
I'll drop you an email.
Please.
But going through and looking at works of art that depict true crime and talking about them, and then doing
it.
an art making activity at the end. So we're again growing and changing and thinking about what we do.
Yeah.
But we have an operating kiln to do ceramics classes, and we have some state of the art classrooms. And thinking about it differently. So yes, education is still at our core. It's still something that we do,
Yeah.
even though the school has closed. We still definitely have education in our heart. as
Yeah.
a Dayton Art
Great.
Institute.
That's great.
Yeah.
So your associate board is made up of how many total people?
64.
64. Because I knew, because Brent and I were on that many years ago.
Yeah, right.
Loved it. And I will tell you, if you get involved with the associate board people, those will be your friends for life.
It's true.
I'm still friends with all of those
It's true.
people, which
Yeah,
is
it's very true.
what a great
Yeah.
gift, really, to give back
Yeah.
to our community.
So 32 duos.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that we want to let folks know is that
Yes.
if you have interest,
Yes.
call us. It was a nomination board. It felt a little like a country club. You had to know
Sure.
somebody, you had to be invited. We really want to open it up. And so if you have some interest, give us a call.
Perfect.
Someone from the museum will get back in touch with you, talk you through the process. There is an interview. We want to make sure
Sure.
that you're
Yeah, of
there
course.
and that you understand, because it is 72 hours of Oktoberfest. It is a week's worth of art ball. And,
Yeah.
It's work.
It's work.
It's work, yeah.
It's a working board.
Yes.
So we want to make sure that you understand what you're getting into.
Yeah.
I'd say it was life-changing for my wife and I to do this. We met some amazing people. Chairing Oktoberfest is a forever memory, and I won't miss an Oktoberfest as
Yeah.
long as I
Right.
can get
It's
there,
what
right?
happens.
Now it's just our thing. We do it. Our kids know it. We all know it.
Yeah.
End up pouring that beer.
Exactly. In the pouring rain or not.
That's
Yeah.
right. It's
Yeah.
true.
It's the traditions. I mean, that's what I love about Dayton too. It's just the great traditions, and so many of them center
Yeah.
around DAI. I'm honestly surprised that you and Brent passed the 4 years
We made
liking
it.
each other test. But congrats on
They're doing
that.
okay.
Yeah,
They're doing okay.
Deep breaths all the way
I
through.
know. Lots
Listen,
of-
I just want to say thank you
You're
for
welcome.
being here with
Yes,
us.
thanks, Mike.
We're so excited about DAI and all that has going on, and what a gift to our community.
Absolutely.
And we want to make sure that you thank all those people that are over there doing their part.
Will do.
And the volunteers as well.
Yeah.
We want to thank Square One Salon, who sponsors the DDQ.
Love Square
It's
One.
great to have Philip back.
Thank
Any
you for
parting
having
words?
me. No, speaking of Square One, it's been a minute. I need to get in and get my hair cut.
I
So
hear ya.
if you
I
know
got my
anybody,
brows ripped off yesterday.
I got a gift card burning a hole in
there you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much for being here. We'll see you again on the DDQ. Bye, everybody.
Bye.